Okay, so the NBA season is rapidly approaching, and I think now is an appropriate time to do my power rankings. Now, I was originally going to do all 30 teams in one video, but that would be a little too long, and that wouldn't make sense. So, I'm going to be doing two parts to my power rankings: Eastern Conference and Western Conference. What you're watching right now is the Eastern Conference, and when the Western Conference comes out, I'll put a link in the description, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, we are here in the Eastern Conference, going from the worst team to the best team. So let's get right into it. Coming in at dead lead last in the Eastern Conference, I have the Orlando Magic, and I think a lot of people saw this coming. The Orlando Magic are just simply not a good team. The Orlando Magic got newly acquired Jalen Suggs, who was looking okay. I mean, at the time I'm recording this, he just had a really bad preseason game. I think it was against the Celtics. But yeah, he's looking like not a bad player, looking like, a decent playmaker. Looks like he has potential to be pretty good this season at least. The Orlando Magic also have Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac returning to their team after both of them tearing their Achilles. Jonathan Isaac, he is an anti-vaxxer, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, but we'll see. I think he's going to play, eventually. Jonathan Isaac is a defensive beast, and I think that if he plays, he'll give the Magic an extra, 5 wins, and even if he doesn't, they'll still be at 15th, so. But yeah, Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz are probably going to be their two best players next year, so it's good that they're both coming back from injury, like I said, if Jonathan Isaac even comes back. They also have some other talent like Wendell Carter, Cole Anthony, a lot of young talent actually. They also got guys like Franz Wagner, RJ Hampton, and a bunch of those guys. And they also have a Mo Bamba, whose career is rapidly regressing. I don't know why so young. But yeah, overall this team has a lot of holes. First of all, they just don't have a good player. The best player is Jonathan Isaac, who's eh. And the rest of their team, they have a hole at small forward. Who's going to start at small forward for them? Who is their shooting guard gonna? I mean, I guess they can do Fultz, but yeah, they got a lot of holes as to positions. Who's gonna start at small forward for them? I don't know. Maybe James Ennis. That's not too good. What are they gonna do with all those point guards? What are they gonna do with all those shooting guards? And yeah, the Magic are in just a really weird spot right now, and they're coming in at last place. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on this. I'm also going to mention that I think the Orlando Magic are going to be the worst team in the whole league next year. There's no other team that's going to be worse than them. So, they're not just last in their conference. Good job, Orlando. At number 14, I have the Washington Wizards, and there's really not much to say about this team. They're kind of in the same position they were a few years ago when Bradley Beal, their star player, was carrying them. When John Wall was injured and the Wizards were just bad every year, but Beal was individually and on his own, he was playing amazing. This is going to be another year where Bradley Beal is just going to carry this team or at least score all the points, and they're still going to be very, very bad. Take a look at the rest of their team. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kuzma, Dinwiddie, there's, I guess Kuzma and Dinwiddie are okay scorers, and they also have guys like Davis Bertans, and, guys Thomas Bryant, but last year, it wasn't even luck, because they didn't even do too good, but they had Russell Westbrook. Now that Westbrook's gone, they're going to go back to being very bad, but don't be surprised if Beal averages 35 around this okay team. Dinwiddie is okay, and I think Kuzma maybe might take a jump, but this team's not good. At number 13, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and honestly, the Cavaliers have a lot of players that, I can respect. They have, a decent squad, with guys like Colin Sexton, Darius Garland making up the backcourt, as well as having Isaac Okoro, who I think is going to get a better role next year. He's going to play a little more. And then they have Jared Allen, who's a great young and improving center, and I expect him to be pretty good next year for the Cavaliers. But now the Cavaliers do have one problem, and that is just too many big mans, and obviously they're the Cavs. They're not a big team. They're not a good team. So aside from them not being a good team, they have way too many big mans. For starters, the Cavs have Lauri Markkanen, and then they also have rookie Evan Mobley, who it really sucks that Mobley got put into this position because now I think Markkanen's going to start, so his role is going to be not as big as it could have been. And then they also have Kevin Love, who's going to be this floor spacer off the bench. And yeah, overall, this team is just not very good. I'm a huge fan of Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton is going to be really good in his career, and I can definitely see him averaging maybe like 25 next year, and then Garland averaging maybe 20. But just overall, I don't think this team's going to be good. At number 12, I have the Charlotte Hornets, and I think this is when, not really criticism or hate, but like, this is when people are going to start disagreeing. Like, the Eastern Conference is so good next year. Like, it's so deep. In my opinion, I honestly think that this is the better conference of the two. So, I can't have like every good team make the playoffs because only 8 make the playoffs. So yeah, number 12 is the Charlotte Hornets, and I don't know if this is too realistic. Like, LaMelo Ball is going to play great next year, and the whole squad, I'm going to get into them in a second, but just the Eastern Conference is just way too good, and there's a lot of good teams ahead. But for now, I'm putting the Hornets at 12. Very unrealistic, but the Eastern Conference is also very interchangeable, so Charlotte can be anywhere from 12 to 8, or a team like maybe the Hawks can be anywhere from 7 to 5. So the whole Eastern Conference is very interchangeable. So when you see like a team that's too low, just know that it's interchangeable. And if you put the Hornets as a top 7 seed or a top 9 seed, then I wouldn't complain. But for now, they're number 12 for me. The Charlotte Hornets obviously have their franchise point guard in LaMelo Ball, and they have, a decent supporting cast. Guys like Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and Miles Bridges, PJ Washington. They are looking to be a pretty okay team next year. I mean, LaMelo Ball is going to not break out. He's just going to have a better year than last year. But like I said, the East is just a little too good, and I don't think the Hornets can be better than any team ahead of them. I mean, actually, they can. It's interchangeable. But for now, I'm going to say 12, I think. At number 11, I have the Indiana Pacers, the final team that is just missing out of the play-in tournament. Now, once again, it's very interchangeable. Indiana can just as easily make the play-in tournament, but they can just as easily fall to 12. So, yeah, Indiana is at number 11. And I honestly like this Pacers team. It's going to be I think it's very underrated. The Pacers have their big two, Malcolm Brogdon and Domantas Sabonis, and like I said in a previous video, that is a very underrated duo, and it's a pretty good one too. Sabonis is a really good power forward. He's like a little bit worse than Julius Randle, plays kind of like him, and Malcolm Brogdon is just a great player all around. To wrap up this team's starting lineup, they have it pretty good. They have Karis LeVert, a young wing scorer that is going to be great for them next year. At the small forward position, they have Miles Turner. They have TJ Warren, who is going to have his moments next year. And at the center position, they have Miles Turner, who played great last year defensively. He's going to get a few blocks for them a game and space the floor for a center. So yeah, on paper, this looks like one of the best starting lineups. And it's not even like their chemistry's bad. So what makes them this low? They can easily be better than teams like the Pistons or the Raptors or maybe even a team like the Celtics. So why are they so low? Well, first of all, aside from the fact that it's interchangeable, they can be an 8 seed. But aside from that, their bench is really bad. Like, they have like some decent guys like TJ McConnell and guys like that off the bench, but it just doesn't stand out and it's not too good. They're going to be relying a lot on their starting lineup, and if they and I don't think they'll stay healthy the whole season. So that plays a part. But overall, this is still a pretty good team. I can't express the fact enough that this is all interchangeable. Charlotte or Indiana can easily be the 8th seed, but Boston can easily be the 12th seed. So it's interchangeable, stuff like that. But yeah, this Pacers bench is okay. TJ McConnell, Justin Holiday, I think he's there. But yeah, it's a good team. I think they'll be okay next year. And for number 10 now, we're at our top 10. We're at the play-in teams. Normally number 10 wouldn't mean anything, but now it's the first team in the play-in game. At number 10, this might upset a lot of people, I have the Detroit Pistons. Once again, for the final time, I'm not going to say it anymore, but it's all interchangeable. Detroit can easily be 12, okay? So, there. Now that I'm done saying that it's interchangeable because you guys get the point by now. But you still might be wondering, why are the Detroit Pistons this high? Well, I actually made a video about that. I talk about how good will the Pistons be, and I go over, their team and stuff, and how I think they'll do. And I think this team can really make the play-in tournament. And I'm just going to go over a little bit their roster now. They obviously have the number 1 overall pick, Cade Cunningham, so that already adds to the firepower. Then they have Jeremy Grant, who's going to be a great scorer again. His opportunity might go down a little bit because Cade has to score, but that's still okay. He'll still get you 20 points a game or something like that. And then they have a good supporting cast. Sadiq Bey, who's a sharpshooter. You have Isaiah Stewart at the center position. And you also have Killian Hayes. And this starting lineup is really good. And even the rest of their team, Kelly Olynyk, Saban Lee, and whoever else you want to put, whether it be Frank Jackson or Trey Lyles or whoever. This team is actually going to be okay. I mean, it's kind of like the same team last year, so their chemistry won't be terrible. And yeah, once again, it's interchangeable, but I think that this team will make the play-in tournament. At number 9, I have the Toronto Raptors. Now, once again, I'm not going to say it was interchangeable, but the Raptors are just they're good enough to be a little bit higher, but I just think other teams are going to be better, because like I said many times, this is a really good Eastern Conference. So the Toronto Raptors, they don't have a real offensive player. They're all going to get their own buckets. They're all going to have their own good nights. So guys like Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, and Pascal Siakam are all going to have their own nights, and they don't have one star that's going to get all the buckets. So their offense is average, but what really puts them ahead is their defense. Their defense is amazing. Fred VanVleet is a great defender. He is actually pretty underrated as a defender. Gary Trent Jr. is okay. I mean, I haven't seen much of him with his defense. But then the rest of their team has so many versatile defenders that can guard positions 1 through 5, such as OG Anunoby. He's going to take a big leap offensively and defensively next year. He is going to be their 3rd best player heading into next year. They also have Pascal Siakam, who can also guard positions 1 through 5. And then they have rookie Scotty Barnes, who was taken with the 4th pick, who everyone thought it would be Jalen Suggs, but he's looking really good in preseason right now. And then they also have Chris Boucher, who just had a breakout year last year. So this team's defense is going to be top 3 for sure. And hopefully they can make the playoffs, because their defense is going to be insane there. And yeah, the Raptors are coming in at number 9 on my list. Alright, thank you if you're still here watching this video. This is a very long video. We're already at 12 minutes and we still have 8 teams to go. So from 8 to 5, 8 to 4, I'm just going to briefly explain the team, make them 30 seconds. Because at the end of the day, this power ranking isn't supposed to be an in-depth video of each team, but that's kind of how it's turning out to be. So from the 8 seed to the 4 seed, I am going to just briefly explain them, and then I'll do top 3. At number 8, we have the Boston Celtics. Now, the Boston Celtics are looking pretty good next year. I expect Jason Tatum to have a great year, as well as Jaylen Brown, and Robert Williams will play great on the defensive end as always. And then they have Dennis Schroeder and then Marcus Smart, who's kind of their heart and soul. So overall, this team looks okay next year. At number 7, I have the Atlanta Hawks. I do think it was a fluke last year, but nonetheless, they are still a very good team heading into next season. The only reason I would say they're this low is because other teams are better. Still got Trae Young, still got John Collins, Clint Capella. They're still looking great on offense and defense, just other teams are better. And number 6, now the first team that is not in the play-in tournament, it is the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat just got Kyle Lowry, but if you saw my How Good Will the Miami Heat video be, you know that they have a lot of problems, and for that, they're going to be at number 6. At number 5, I have the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this might be a bit too low for most people, but there's no guarantee that Ben Simmons plays, and I feel like they might be in a rush to trade him, and the deal won't be as good as they wanted, and I just don't think they're going to do good this year. And at number 4, I have the New York Knicks. This team is also looking very good heading into the next NBA season. They have Julius Randle, who is going to play great once again, I'm pretty sure. They also have RJ Barrett, who has been improving every year. I expect, again, nothing but improvement. They also got Evan Fournier, who is going to provide pretty good scoring on the wing. They have Mitchell Robinson, who hopefully comes back early next year. He is a great defender. And then they got Kemba Walker, who's probably their biggest signing. He's had a disappointing year last year, but nonetheless, you're still getting Kemba Walker. So the New York Knicks are actually the 4th seed now. On to the top 3. Alright, here we are on number 3. I still want to keep this relatively short, these teams, but it's not going to be too short. They're going to be like a minute long. Never mind. But number 3, we have the Chicago Bulls. Now, a lot of you guys might disagree with this, but you know what? I think that the Bulls are truly the number 3 seed. Like, it could have been the 76ers, but with all the Ben Simmons stuff going on, you never know what's going to happen there. And then I guess it could be the Knicks. Or it can even be the Miami Heat. That's how interchangeable this Eastern Conference is. But yeah, the Chicago Bulls are at number 3. The Bulls have a pretty good bench with guys like Kobe White and the GOAT Alex Caruso off the bench. But we know why the Bulls are really the 3 seed. It's because of this big 4 right here on the screen. I'm not going to get too in-depth about it because I already made a video about the Bulls a couple months ago. But yeah, they got Lonzo Ball, who's going to be the facilitator. Nikola Vucevic, who's going to be the all-star caliber center. You have Zach LaVine, who is going to get you 25 points a game and be the main scorer. And then you have DeMar DeRozan for when LaVine has those off games or when DeRozan just simply going to be a point forward. And yeah, this team looks really well together in their few preseason games, and they're number 3. It might be a bit of a hot take, like Philly could maybe be better than them, but I'm putting them here. At number 2, I have the defending champions, the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, this was kind of controversial to put them number 1, and it can be interchangeable, but I think we all know who number 1 is, and I mean, the Nets are just like the second best team in the league, or maybe first, depends what you think. But we're talking about the Bucks right now. The Bucks could really be the second best team. Oh yeah, by the way, it's a gap. So like Milwaukee and Brooklyn are the top 2, and then everyone else is like a tier below them. So these are the 2 elite teams now. The main thing that makes the Bucks this good, like they have depth and they have all that stuff, but the main thing that makes them good is their big 3. They obviously have Chris Middleton, who is an amazing three-point shooter, and he has just developed so much over the years, and I think he'll do the same this year. They have Drew Holiday, who's going to head into his second year with the Bucks. He is going to be a great defender. For a guard, he's going to be in the Defensive Player of the Year candidates. I don't think he'll win it, but he is an amazing player. He can get you going on offense too, but he won't have to worry about that because they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the best players in the league, top 3 for sure. Giannis is amazing, man. Like, he grabs every rebound, he swats every shot, and he is just so dominant on the offensive end. So the Bucks are number 2, and they would be number 1, but we know who number 1 really is. And number 1, we all saw this coming, so I'm going to not talk too long about it. It is the Brooklyn Nets. We all expected this team to be number 1 in the Eastern Conference at least. And yeah, they obviously have their big 3 of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, hopefully he plays. I doubt it. And they have James Harden. KD and James Harden, 2 amazing players. And they also have the depth to go along with this. The Nets have Blake Griffin, who isn't really good anymore, but he's still showing little sparks here and there of athleticism since arriving to Brooklyn. LaMarcus Aldridge, he signed with the Nets, making a super team, retired due to health issues, and now he comes back to the Nets. They also have Joe Harris to go with this depth. He'll probably be off the bench now, I think, but he'll still provide good shooting off the bench, and even if he does mix in with the starters, he will drain your threes, and he is just a great player. The last guy I want to talk about in terms of the Nets' depth is Nicholas Claxton. Ever since DeAndre Jordan left on the Lakers, the Nets were in desperate need of a backup center, and Nicholas Claxton is going to be that. He is going to be a great defender while still getting it done on the offensive end. And yeah, just overall, this Nets team, it has problems, don't get me wrong. Like, it can't play this team can't play defense whatsoever, and it has many problems, but they are still by far the best team in the Eastern Conference. Alright, that's going to wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Comment what you agree on, what you disagree on, if there's anything you would change. But yeah, with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.